Well, hey there, Bucket Pond family. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at the 1 quart jar aquariums that I showed in the previous video. And in fact, we're going to build one. Yes, this is an all-natural planted tank with no pumps or filters of any kind. And even though it's only 1 quart in volume, you can raise a ton of snails in here, microfauna, and grow some plants as well. So let's get started. I'm not going to bore you with a material list. Instead, I'll just show you. I am using a recycled pickle jar. I am using some lava rock. You can use any stone that is water safe. We have a scallop shell, which is a bit dirty from one of my terrariums. And we have a piece of a pool noodle. Yes, a common pool noodle. Someone suggested that we use this as a lid in our jar aquariums, and I'm very intrigued. We'll also be populating this tank with ostracods. Yes, not strictly required, but definitely a bonus. Now I'll be using plants in this aquarium, and I was going to use this pothos or a related plant, but instead I think we'll use alligator weed, which should work perfectly with that pool noodle as a lid. I know it sounds a bit strange, but I'll show you as we go. So we're starting with an empty jar, and we are going to insert that shell into the tank. You'll be curious what that shell is for if you're new to the channel. And I use these natural seashells for my snails and some of my other critters as well. They like to graze on the shell. And some algae and bacteria and things will grow on that seashell as well. So I want to have the shell standing up in the jar, which will allow our animals to graze on both sides of the shell. It'll also brighten up the tank a little bit with that bright white bouncing some light around. Yeah. And so once we have it wedged in there properly, it will not fall over no matter what happens. And now we're going to add some clean, fresh water to start the aquarium. This water is from an underground aquifer, and it's very high quality. You can use tap water, but I advise against it. There are ways to remove chlorine and stuff, but it's always going to leave some kind of trace, and it's not a great way to start. So there we go. Next, we're going to add our ostracods in here. These are also called seed shrimp, and they are tiny crustaceans which make for excellent jar aquarium pets. Kind of like sea monkeys. They're not at all related to them, but the idea is the same. You know, you can have a jar of water full of little animals, and you'll see them more later in the video. But they're pretty durable critters, so I'm just going to inject them in here. I'm not going to worry about them too much. And we do have a floating piece of lava rock, and that's not unusual. Lava rock is very porous and very lightweight, so it's full of air. So we're going to add some more water to raise the water level to where we want it to be, and we will remove that floating island. I am going to tap it a few times just to make sure there are no ostracods climbing on it or roosting on it like they do. And we'll just replace that with another piece of lava rock. Nothing to it. So far, the tank has cost us almost nothing to produce, and it's looking pretty good. The lava rock is going to release some oxygen for a while, so we'll let it sit for an hour or two and come back. All right, so now we're going to try out the pool noodle lid idea. It's strange, I admit. I could not visualize this when the person first suggested it. But I happened to see a pool noodle at the old dollar store, and I thought, why not get one and see if we can't make it work, see if we can't figure out what they were talking about. Unfortunately, I did lose that comment. I can't tell you who suggested this. If that's you, please leave another comment, and I'll make sure to mention you. But yeah, it's actually a great lid. This opening, the mouth of this jar, is about the same size as a wide mouth mason jar. And that lid would definitely fit in either one. And in fact, you could cut it a bit skinnier and it would work a bit better. We'll look at that lid more in a moment. Now, I'm going to work in another suggestion here from Controversial Chris, who suggested that the ostracods, with their aggressive swarming behavior that we've seen in the other videos, that it may be related to a protein deficiency, that we should try a protein-rich food. So for this build, for the swarm that we're starting in this jar aquarium, I'm going to give them some bacon. Yeah, I've never used meat in my aquariums before, and this is likely a bad idea. But I'm curious what will happen to the ostracods in here. If they will happily consume this, if they will avoid it, I don't know. They've never had meat before. Now, I was going to use the pothos here, but instead I think we'll use the alligator weed, which has that more vertical growth pattern. Should work better for this type of lid. I am plucking the leaves off the lowest node on this alligator weed. And this is anecdotal evidence, but to me, it seems to encourage the plant to grow roots if you remove those lowest leaves. And generally, those leaves aren't meant to be submerged. They will fail, and it's best just to pluck them. But there we go. We have a beautiful little jar aquarium. I'm loving the steel spike with the bacon on it and the plant coming out of the top as well. We'll use the pothos in another build video. So now we're going to inject a few more ostracods and likely some copepods and some other things in here. You may have a different type of microfauna, a different type of tiny aquatic animal that you want to raise, and that's totally okay. I just like my ostracods and my pets. But yes, you could raise Daphnia, Paramecium, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. You've seen a ton of different species on my channel. We even have some scuds, and this guy came from the wild jar, and he actually fell out of the pipette. He almost died. He almost drowned in the air here. Yeah, suffocated, I guess would be the word. But this little guy is a scud. Yeah, as near as I can tell, and he came from the wild aquarium. I did take a little substrate from there and a few of those ostracods to bring into this build, so it's really cool to see him here. So hello, it is day 2, and we have a lot of activity in this aquarium. Down below that spike, we have a ton of action. It looks like a bunch of ostracods and a couple of those scuds as well. I don't know why they would be so fixated just beneath the bacon. I assume that some small particles are drifting off of it. Maybe the scent is wafting down here. I don't know. There's no current in this tank. There's no airflow or water flow, so everything's pretty chill. You might even see those scuds darting around in here. I love those guys. So we're going to add some bladder snails in here, and we'll take some from this forgotten aquarium. I did build it on the channel, but you may not remember it, and that's okay. So we're going to kidnap some of these bladder snails. If I remember correctly, they are just descendants of the main population, so they don't have any of the crazy, unique mutations that we've seen, and that's okay. That's okay. They're just normal bladder snails, and we even have some ramshorns in here too, yes. I would advise you that ramshorns are more difficult to raise without an air pump. Originally, I said that you just couldn't do it in a small tank like this, but I've accidentally had a few small tanks like this that get loaded up with ramshorns, and they do pretty good. So, yeah, just be wary. Really, this is meant for bladder snails. So, yeah, if you're going to use ramshorns, I would suggest a larger jar with an air pump, something like that. But they'll do fine in here as well. Little baby red ramshorn snails, and you may see a few needles of hornwort as well from the other tank. It'll be okay. So, all right, day 5. We've allowed the tank to settle. We've added food. We've populated it with our initial life forms. The jar looks good. It's a little cloudy. To be expected. There is a rotting piece of bacon in here. So we're going to do a quick water change using a bit of aquarium airline. And yeah, very careful to not suck out all of our ostracods. And we will have to pull our plant out of here, I believe, because I'm going to remove that bacon. We're going to do another test as a bonus video, I think maybe Wednesday. I'll have that up. And we'll run this test again on a larger jar with a ton of ostracods inside. Yeah. But we did see that our pets were very much interested. They were hanging around, piling up beneath the bacon, so that's something. But I think that that suggestion from Chris there deserves a whole video, and we'll cover that again here in a minute. But for right now, we're complete with our water change. I'm going to top it up with some more fresh, clean water from that aquifer. You don't always need water from a fish tank or a pond. You know, you can use clean water. It's not a bad idea. There we go. And I'm not too worried about cycling an aquarium like this. Uh, really, if I added those plants, which I did, they brought in some beneficial bacteria to seed the colonies in here. But also, I did inject samples of ostracods and water from other aquariums. So that's generally enough to start the process. We do have some root growth on that alligator weed stem. And we have a ton of life in here, you guys. This is 4 times motion, so you can see 4 times fast forward. But yes, the tank is well populated. And I'm showing you this because I want you to see that you can support a significant ecosystem in a 1-quart jar. It's possible. And I do really like this build, you guys. I'm surprised. Now I'm going to replace that bacon with a bit of cucumber, something that they are more accustomed to, and I'm sure they'll eat this and happily use this material to grow their population. But I am open to adding more bacon and meat in the future, because we do have egg sacs in here. Well, bladder snails are breeding. We have babies on the way, and so I am going to add another plant, some spike rush that has escaped a jar aquarium down on the bottom shelf. And yeah, guys, I was saying that this is going to have bladder snails in it, and usually I would not try to include them with our ostracods. The ostracods will eat them. They will kill them. So I'm thinking, using Chris's suggestion there, that we can maintain a high level of food in this tank. That bacon sat in there for 5 days, and it didn't really hurt anything. It just made the water a little cloudy, and it seemed to feed our pets rather well. So I'm going to maintain a constant supply of food in this tank, and my thought process is that this may protect the bladder snails by, pacifying the ostracods, allowing them to always have food. Maybe they won't be so aggressive to our other pets. That's my idea. And it seems to be working. Keep in mind, I just removed their piece of bacon, so they are pretty well fed. You'll notice that many of the ostracods are orange, and I think that's from the little bacon material they were consuming. Usually they're very pale white. This is an odd scene here, guys. We have a scud riding on the back of a bladder snail. Didn't think I'd see that happen. Just didn't occur to me. But yeah, there we go. So I was trying to say that hopefully we'll keep the ostracods pacified. I will add more meat to this tank. I'm not worried about it. You'll see it again in the future. And we'll have a little scud riding a bladder snail. I'm sure we'll see that again as well. Well, all right, Bucket Pond family, we are done for today. We built a beautiful new jar aquarium using your ideas, and I'm so excited to include your suggestions in these videos. Using your ideas to build these tanks and mixing in a little of my own magic, it feels good. Yeah, I like it. So big thank you to everyone who's dropping comments, everyone who's made it this far into the video. You are supporting Bucket Ponds by donating your time. So yes, thank you. Big shout out to my YouTube members and Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Your support means so much to me. I know it's only $1 per month, but as the guy running the channel, it means a lot. So thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll have another video up soon. We did test the pool noodle idea, and I love it. You'll see that again in future videos. The protein-rich diet for the ostracods is a good idea, and and it deserves a video of its own. So I'll have a bonus video up about that around Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll see you again next Sunday with another Bucket Ponds video. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and I look forward to seeing your comments. Thank you.